What is up, you guys? Happy full moon in Sagittarius. I hope that y'all are feeling it. I feel that I am. I was tired leading up to this full moon, but then also so energetic that I felt like I could maybe run a marathon in the middle of the night. I haven't been sleeping very well the last couple of days. And I was out running around all day today. I was on long walks. I went running. I did a workout. I was working in a new venture that I've been kind of like telling you guys about a little bit. So I've been starting the process of expansion in different ways in my life, and I hope that you are doing the same. So Sagittarius is a mutable fire sign. This is a masculine sign. And this is the culmination of what you may have set into motion 6 months ago. So think about the seeds that you were planting and the intentions that you were setting in December, probably setting your intentions for this year and what you wanted for 2024. So this full moon is going to be sort of like bringing a lot of that energy, that seed planting into the next phase. Maybe even some things into culmination, or maybe you're going to start seeing the first signs of life in those intentions that you had set out in December. So Sagittarius is like super expansive. Sagittarius is enthusiastic and fun and fiery and philosophical and hilarious and super blunt. They are this is a mutable energy, so very changeable. So Jupiter expands whatever it touches. Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. Jupiter is also the planet of like good fortune and adventure. And so like our good fortune, good luck, our sense of adventure, our philosophy is expanding. Jupiter and Sagittarius are also like the curious seekers. Some of the different signs are more curious than others. They're more kind of intellectually oriented than others. Well, Sagittarius is like super curious about studying and philosophy, and they are open-minded, and they are like willing to learn, and they're interested in learning. So there's a chance that if there's something that you have been wanting to learn more about, or some philosophy in your life that has like shifted, or your mindset has shifted and it's been able to like broaden your horizons and open your mind, well, that is going to open the path for you for greater opportunity, greater expansion, greater abundance, and greater beauty in your life. So there's been a lot of action with Jupiter lately, particularly as it pertains to its interactions with the planet Venus, because Jupiter has been in Taurus. This has been expanding the Taurus themes of money, beauty, security, luxury, earthly groundedness. But like Taurus is really good at making, like, recognizing what is going to be value and then growing that thing, cultivating it so that the value is exponentially expanded and grows. Taurus can recognize like a good business opportunity and like really do something with it, particularly if it's something that has to do with something that the culture will like latch onto and find pleasing or beautiful or enticing. Venus is all about beauty and creativity and like nurturing and leading the way by enticing rather than by pushing. Think about when Jesus talked about the like luring someone in with the delicious smells rather than the clanging of gongs, I think was like something to that likely at that effect. But he had this like parable or story he talked about where it's like easier to lure someone in through a beautiful smell than it is the hammering of nails, right? So think about that. What is beautiful and enticing. And, think about Joseph Campbell, his advice to follow your bliss. So it makes me think that if we get in touch with our core authenticity and really discover what truly is fulfilling for us, what gives us a sense of purpose and inner peace and bliss and fulfillment. And it's not going to be the same for everyone. That's why we have to learn what are these core, what is this core authentic code within us, and what is only there because of like societal programming or, projections or people pleasing. And when we can separate that, we can let go of anything so for instance, when we are in a full moon, we're releasing and we're cleansing. So we're letting go of like indoctrinations and philosophies that were imposed upon us, and maybe mindsets or limiting beliefs that have been holding us back and preventing us from expanding. So Jupiter's been in Taurus. Then recently, Jupiter was conjunct Uranus in Taurus. Uranus is like a game-changing like catalyst that brings about like revolutionary change. It radically shifts the situation, and it can be abrupt or quick or sudden or unexpected. It can feel out of left field. So that energy has been up in the air recently. And then on May 18th, there was a Jupiter cazimi, meaning that Jupiter was within 1 degree of the sun, which amplified all of the Jupiter energy and themes and effects that Jupiter was already having on, wherever it touches Taurus and in your chart. So there's potential for huge things to start blossoming. Blossoming. I heard that wrong. And potential for like things that we've already been working on and seeds that we've been tending to, they could suddenly like take off in a growth spurt, maybe like out of left field, or it seems like maybe something is just like stagnant, or it feels blocked, and maybe something unblocks whatever it is that's been holding that wherever it is in like a chokehold, and it's going to loosen up and things are going to start flowing. So it might be all of a sudden, or it might be like gradual, and it might be like growing gradually. But either way, just know that like the seeds that you've been planting recently it doesn't have to show fruit immediately. It doesn't have to mean that like you started something and you're like, I don't see any signs of success yet. It's okay. These are seeds that are going to grow over a long term. They're going to yield long-term value. That's what Taurus does. It yields value that begets value. It yields like sustainable value rather than short-term gratification. So that's all very good. Very exciting. So expanding our horizons, opening our minds. We're well on our way to seeing our vision for our lives starting to come into fulfillment. So it's important now that we keep our intentions focused, and we train our attention and our resources and our energy on the things that truly matter, and things that aren't in alignment with that, and things that are just like something that we don't care about at all, that we're doing out of a sense of obligation or guilt or shame. Like all of that is going by the wayside. We just don't have we understand that we're finite and limited, and so we cannot get time back. That's our like most precious resource. So we need to allocate it intentionally. Okay, let's just jump right into our Celtic cross using my custom oracle deck, the Straightforward Oracle. Whenever this becomes available to purchase at some point, I am feeling that this is going to be the go-to companion deck for clarification. I just felt like every oracle deck is so vague, and even many of the tarot cards can have so many layered meanings, that I just wanted to have a tool to go to that wasn't cryptic, that just gave like there was like a billion cards, but there's all the answers that you could ever want. And so that's what I channeled through in the Straightforward Oracle. All right, the first card is going to represent us in the context of this moment. Trust your gut. So we're learning how to trust ourselves and trust in the Creator and surrender to the appearance of what is happening in front of us and relax and know that we have heavenly help working behind the scenes and that we are exactly where we need to be. Even if we feel uncomfortable, even if we don't approve of it, even if it's not where we thought we would be or where we should be at this point in the year or in our lives, we are exactly where we need to be. And whatever is playing out in front of us, whatever is on in our movie, that is some message sent from the universe to help us and shape us and steer us in some direction. The key and the trick is how we're interpreting those messages. So are we interpreting these messages clearly? Are we getting guidance from source? Are we tuning in from within and taking plenty of time to get quiet and go inward so that we have the space that we need in order to get that guidance from spirit? So trust your gut, act on impulse, and trust your instincts. How does this make you feel in your stomach? Do you have a compelling feeling? Learning to discern between truth and illusion. Work with sacral chakra, moon, and water. What is your gut telling you? So activate your sacral chakra, charge the sacral chakra with the color orange, working with the moon like we're doing now. And then, aligning your body to the moon cycles is helpful. I think that just being kind of aware of where the moon is helpful because you are leaning in to the rhythm of the collective energy rather than fighting against it. All right, what is crossing us now that we need to know about? What is crossing us? This is like the energy that is influencing us at the moment. I feel like it's this one here. You're making too big of a deal of this. So we were just told to trust our gut. This card is you're making too big of a deal about something. So it's maybe you're overthinking something and you're second guessing yourself, or you don't feel sure enough or certain in yourself. And so it's a sign that you're not trusting your gut. You're making too big of a deal of this. Making mountains out of molehills. This isn't as significant as you think. You're blowing something out of proportion. If you make too big of a deal of things or make things more difficult or complex than they have to be, then it takes a lot of energy. This is draining to your energy and is repellent to others. Let it be simple. Don't make it a big deal. The situation may not be as significant as you think it will be. So is there something in your life that you are oh, this is going to be such a big deal? Maybe it won't be. Maybe this isn't the big thing that you've been waiting for, the big fish you've been waiting to catch. Maybe there's another opportunity coming. Maybe you were afraid that something was going to ruin everything and it's going to get you in huge trouble. It's going to set you back. Or maybe you had a bill come out of nowhere and you weren't expecting it. It's don't make a big deal out of it. Everything's going to be fine. You're blowing it out of proportion. So maybe something small that happened that you were putting too much significance on and it's not that big of a deal, for good or for bad. So just know, it's not going to make that big of a difference. So don't sweat it too much either way. Don't worry, everything will work out fine. You're blowing this out of proportion. Look to others for a little perspective. Amazing. Okay, so the next card is going to represent our subconscious influence on the situation. So our subconscious influence on the situation. This is an issue of self-worth. Oh my goodness. I knew this card was going to come up in this reading. I don't know how. It's just sometimes beforehand, I already start getting the cards. I already start coming up in my consciousness. So the subconscious issue right now is that it's an issue of self-worth. So maybe you have some subtle low self-worth issues that are causing you to make a bigger deal out of something than it is. and you need to trust your gut in the situation. And the reason that you're not trusting your gut is because it's the self-worth that's playing with your judgment. So if you had the self-worth of your higher self, imagine someone that you perceive as having such high self-worth and such self-confidence, and they have such ease, and they don't have all the baggage that you have, and they don't have difficulty just functioning as a person in life, and they can just, it's just like they can just do it and it's fine. That person for you, imagine if they were in your situation, would they be making a big deal out of this? Like, how would they kind of interpret what's happening around, your individual storyline? So this is an issue of self-worth. The situation you find yourself in is directly connected to self-worth. There are many tests right now that are testing your self-worth, so pay attention and learn from your patterns. You deserve a healthy, happy life full of love and true relationships. But you have to be worthy enough to yourself to spend time and energy to invest in getting to know yourself, supporting yourself and healing yourself, and taking care of yourself. Keep the promises you make to yourself and honor your boundaries. So this is pretty exciting to get this card, because when we are in the phases of manifestation, right before like a big manifestation comes in, we are tested, and our self-worth is tested, and our trust is tested. Our trust in Creator, and our trust that we've built in our own self, along with this self-worth test. So what that looks like is that you'll be doing all the work to unblock and to heal things, and then you're going to be setting your attention on people that show you like what you want is possible. They're your expanders, they're your examples. So you're doing the work, you're doing the physical work, you're doing the emotional work, you're doing the spiritual work, you're in prayer, you're in meditation, you've got a good balance of everything happening, and you're putting all your effort in, putting all your heart into it, and you have passion, and you're involved, and you're intentional. And so maybe you get to a point where you're like, wow, it's gone quiet. I feel like I put everything out there, and I feel like I would have been seeing results by now. And so the universe lets everything kind of go quiet to make you feel like you're not going to get an option. And so then it presents to you something that's close, but no dice. Something that has everything on your list, but it lacks something like vital and important, like a non-negotiable or a deal breaker. And so the universe is testing you, and maybe it's not. Maybe it's more subtle than that. Maybe it's just not quite right. Maybe it's like, yeah, you can make it work, but you'd always feel like you were settling a little bit. And this can be with anything. It can be with a pair of jeans that you really wanted the other ones, and you wasted your money on the not as good pair, It's too late now, right? A relationship that you rushed into with a person, and you got in over your head, and then realized a few months in that this is not the person you thought. What if, like when you're looking for a job and it's like a big career move, and you're like, oh, it's so, such big decisions. There's so many factors and variables weighing in. Or when you move into a place, like if you buy a house or you rent a new property, there's so many issues that come up. So the universe will test you to see, like, do you trust that the right thing is coming for you? The thing that you want will be provided. And do you subconsciously feel that you deserve that and that you're worthy of it? Do you believe that with all your heart? And if you do, you won't settle. If you are still wavering in your self-worth, you might dabble a little bit, or put a toe in, or settle for someone who's showing you red flags, all of that. So it's a test of self-worth. And so when you can pass those tests, it's a sign that your manifestation is on the way. In Kabbalah, we talk about creation phase 3. And in To Be Magnetic, this period where your self-worth is tested is called the Magick dark. So if you are wanting to rewrite your neural pathways, regulate your nervous system, get into the subconscious and do a lot of that healing work and a lot of that therapeutic work with yourself. It's like a go at your own pace. There's hypnotic therapy involved. Check out the link below to the membership at To Be Magnetic. There are all kinds of workshops dedicated to each of the major pillars of your life. And I think monthly membership is like $20 or $30 or so. And I think with my discount, you can get 15% off on your monthly membership. But if you're interested in having like a structure and a system to like kind of guide you through the inner work, but also start manifesting things, it's a great way to go about it. Okay, and then also the Kabbalah Center is where I take all of my Kabbalah classes. So if you go and sign up and like you can just get a free account with them, you can start with their free content and then you can figure out if you want to have a membership with them. Okay, so now the next card is going to be an issue from the recent past, like a lesson that's starting to clear up, starting to dissipate, but you're still feeling the effects of it a little bit. So this is a lesson from the past. You're almost out of it, but you kind of still feel the implications of it. This is going to be a problem. So there's an issue that needs to be addressed. This is a bad choice, a wrong direction, not the right person, or a habit that needs to change. Something needs to be fixed, wrong choice. Don't ignore this. It will come back to bite you in the ass. So this is an issue of self-worth. You're making too big of a deal of this, and trust your gut. So it makes me think that the universe has dangled a carrot in front of us, or maybe a series of carrots in different areas of our lives that are very close, but it's not quite right. And so before you take any action that is untakeable, like you can't take it back, and before you make any big choices, practice restriction, rein it in, don't do anything yet. Because chances are, like just from like these collections of cards right now, whatever the little sparkly carrot is in front of you is not it, and you know it. And you know what the thing that's close is close, but whenever the thing that's close is close, it's like sugar gathering around us. And the opponent, the devil, the Satan, the female Satan and the male Satan, they gather around and they get ready to scheme and trick us so that they can grab our blessing and they can intercept it, and they can intercept that light and take it to the side of the dark. Because if they can get us to be emotional and reactive and do something that is impulsive and sort of creates, I don't know, a negative effect of like turn of events, then it like tips the scale back to the side of dark, and it creates more chaos and more tikkun for us to correct for. So the dark side wins in that scenario. So if this isn't as big of a deal as you think it is, then that means that it's not going to be that big of a deal to walk away. And if it is something that's meant to be for you and it's yours and the universe is like, this is your thing, then it will not pass you by. If you have recently put yourself out there for an opportunity that you thought you for sure that you had and it just didn't pan out, and you're like, seems almost absurd. Like, it just seemed like such a match. Then it just wasn't meant to be. There's something else coming. There was something that I had sort of put my name in the bin for, for these like pop-up events with this brand in town's local business. And I wanted to do pop-up like mini readings at these events. And I had followed a ping into their shop, and I mentioned that I was a reader if they ever needed a reader for like special events. And the girl was literally like, oh my gosh, I am writing a post about like pop-up events and needing vendors for these events. So just like respond to the post when you see it, and then you'll get a message from there. So I did, and they sent me a message, and then they were like, email your information over here, answer these questions. And so I did, and I was like, this is like a sure deal. I mean, all the synchronicities, all the signs were there. Like, I showed up, I did the thing, I followed the ping, and yet nothing, crickets. And this is the same, this has happened twice now. Another business did this, it was a different scenario, but in February. So there's some reason why I need to trust that this isn't working out for a reason. And it couldn't have nothing to do with the businesses, but it could have everything to do with maintaining my freedom of schedule and not locking myself in to like distant events in the future, because other things might be coming up at that time. You never know. So this is going to be a problem. There is something out there. Excuse me. Sneezy. That is just not quite right. So don't feel panicked if you're like, oh no, I thought it was gonna work out. It didn't. Like, it's just like everything is just as it should be right now. Tests are happening, which is good. That means manifestations could be close by too. So what's crowning us? A hidden agenda is creating resistance. So you may have a conflicting desire that is preventing alignment. Someone around you might have a conflicting agenda to yours. Or a situation or person may not be what they seem, and your subconscious is trying to protect you. Again, so this feels really continuous. It's like there's something that it's not as it seems. Something else that you're not aware of is sort of getting in the way of the situation. It could be that like a conflict of interests. It could be that you like have your sights on something that's not what it's not going to be all it's cracked up to be. And you don't want to get in before like get in too deep and you can't, back out. Like for like a lease or something like that. A situation or person may not be what they seem, and your subconscious is trying to protect you. Your goals are conflicting. You may need to prioritize one over the other for a period of time. In order to manifest, you must be in vibrational alignment, mind, body, and spirit. So if you are trying to say manifest career success and you're taking actions, but it's not happening, maybe there is a subconscious inner conflicting desire that you're not aware of, that you are afraid that if you have success, then that means that you're going to have to sacrifice something else that's going to be equally precious to you. Your free time. Maybe you're afraid that you're going to have to carry more responsibility. Maybe you're afraid that that's going to make you like less desirable to certain people and more desirable to others. Maybe you feel like your success is going to make you a target. Maybe you feel like your success is going to be threatening to others. Maybe you feel like it is going to isolate you from people that you care about or separate you from them in some way. So like, for instance, if your desire is to have a committed relationship, but you're terrified of intimacy, you're terrified of being fully vulnerable, fully exposed, fully yourself, because you're afraid that if you get rejected and you've shown who you really are, then that's like so final. You're like, well, they really rejected the real me, not just like, I didn't hide myself under a bushel basket. I like shined my light and they still reject me. It's like that can keep you keeping people at arm's length if you feel like your heart is not resilient enough to handle rejection, right? So search yourself. Something is crowning you right now, and it could be an inner conflicting desire within you, but it also could be that a situation or a person is not quite what they appear to be, and your subconscious is trying to protect you, and you need to trust your gut. Okay, so what is just around the corner? This landed like this, like up like that and stayed there. Stop obsessing. So insert slap here. Snap out of it. Time to think about other things. You're too mentally invested in this. Give it space. This obsession is highlighting a form of lack, fear, or doubt. What is it about the situation that is causing you to obsess? Now, two things come to mind. One is the a Zohar lesson that I just listened to either this morning or yesterday. And it was about it's about letting the land lie fallow. In the 7th year, letting the land lie fallow. And so what that meant was, in biblical times, they had a practice where every 7th year, they would not work the land of the farm, and they would let their field rest. The 7th year is congruent or like parallel to Shabbat. On the seventh day, God rested. And so we observe our Creator, his value of rest. And we, like the Creator, take a day to rest, and we honor the Creator through our rest, and we trust the Creator through our rest, that it's not all up to us, right? That we're not in control, and that we have no control, and that the Creator is providing for us. So the lesson was, when you let the field lie fallow on the seventh year, and it's not like people were just going around like, yeah, I'm totally cool, it's just letting my land lie fallow. It's like, they're probably like, are we gonna do this? I mean, fuck. Like, because you have to believe in the miracle of the sixth year yielding enough food to get you through not only that year, but the next year. I think it like that food has to last 2 or 3 years, because you won't really yield crops for another, because you have to let the land rest for the full year, for the full seventh year. So the sixth year has to supply the year that you're in, the seventh year, and supply you the eighth year until the seventh year yields fruit. So that is learning to trust the Creator. And when you think about 6 of Pentacles and 7 of Pentacles, 6 of Pentacles is when we get the windfall, the unexpected abundance that comes in. The seventh 7 of Pentacles is when we're looking at our seeds that we've planted, and we're like, oh my gosh, are you gonna come up? I'm really needing you to yield fruit. And like the farmer is looking like anxious. And it's like, yeah, when you're in that 7th year and you need to learn to rest and be patient and relax and trust and melt into certainty and well-being and inner peace inside, peace in the Creator, trust in the Creator, faith, Amunah. Amunah is certainty, faith beyond reason, beyond logic. And so that's kind of what it takes to be able to give yourself a rest, to give anything a rest, to just give it a rest. Stop obsessing. It doesn't show that you're trusting the Creator if you feel like you can never take a day off from work, or you can never take a few hours to shift your attention onto something else. Also, like, in addition to obsessing over your dreams or your goals or your manifestations, obsessing over a person, right? Is this a situation where limerence is involved, or like an obsessive projection or breadcrumbing, or like kind of like obsessing over someone like in a fantasy, but like holding them at a distance, because like on a pedestal, so that you don't have to become fully involved. Like, that is a pattern of obsessing over, a person. So this situation that is being described to us, maybe someone is limerent on the receiving end, or maybe we are limerent over something else, and there's nothing more to it than that. It could have to do with unhealed childhood post-traumatic stress syndrome that actually materializes in limerence as an adult. And if you don't know what limerence is when you are sort of like projecting attraction or a crush onto someone and it's unrequited, and it really has more to do with like a trauma response in the nervous system than it does to do with like actual feelings. Okay, so then this card is going to be our perspective that's affecting us right now. Deservingness is the key to unlocking your manifestation. So our subconscious influence is our self-worth. That is probably what's bringing this test in. And if we have strong enough self-worth, then we can recognize the obsessing and choose to shift our thoughts, choose to practice discipline, choose to shut that off, and choose to shift our focus. The perspective, our outer, like conscious perspective that is affecting us right now is deservingness. If we truly believe that we deserve what we dream of, then we won't settle for anything that's not fully presenting and offering value to us on the level that we deserve. So deservingness is the issue. It's the key. What is the outer other people's influence on us right now. It's time to move on. The situation has no more to give. There's nothing left for you here. So if you're waiting for the answer to come through other people, right? If I'm waiting for these companies to get back to me, then I am going to be twirling my thumbs, right? I could just be in like a folder of their resources for the future, right? If you're waiting for a person to reciprocate, you know, your feelings, it's time to move on. They have nothing to give. Even if it's a situation where they do have maybe feelings or like for you, there's some reason why they're not available. And so in order to pass this test, you need to completely cut the cord, call it a no, and move forward and not look back. Lot's wife fleeing Sodom and Gomorrah, the angels told them, get out of town, we're destroying the city, run as fast as you can, don't look back, whatever you do. And she looked back because she had loved ones in that city. That's where she was from. And she turned into a pillar of salt and she was frozen. And so if we focus on the past and on our regret and on our sadness, then we will be frozen in time and we will not move forward and we will become bitter like salt. So the situation has no more to give. There's nothing left for you here. You will regret wasting any more time here. There is nothing more to be shared, given, or received for the highest good. It is time to let go. The situation does not offer you true value that is authentic to you. Okay, so the next card, well, this is some tough love from the universe, guys. But this is good because this is the full moon reading. This is what we need to let go of. This is what's showing us what needs to go that's holding us back from expanding into all the blessings that are coming in right now. So even though it feels like a bit tough love and it feels a bit straightforward and it feels like there hasn't been a lot of fun news yet, it's good because it means that something like the big thing, the big gift, the exciting desire that we're waiting for, the dream, the goal, whatever it is, it means that it hasn't shown up yet. And that's really exciting because on some level, these cards hint at the fact that you were like, you kind of knew it wasn't quite right. Like everything wasn't really like jiving the way it should. So this is good news. This is going to be better than anything that you've experienced so far. But you have to have the self-worth that is equal to getting to that thing. And so by like cutting cords, facing fears, saying no, setting boundaries, those are all things that deepen your self-worth and raise your vibration. So a lot of times right before a blessing can come in, the universe has to do something really quick to give us a boost. So it either gives us something that will give us a quick cleanse or it will give us a test or something of the sort that will raise our vibration and our self-worth. So I think this is really good news, even though it feels like, even though it doesn't sound like it. Okay, so the next card represents our hopes and fears. Our hopes and fears. Prosperity and abundance. You have plenty. Do something small to affirm your abundance to yourself. You have sneaky lack hiding in the shadows of your perceptions. Nip it in the bud before it causes a problem. So it's like this is going to become a problem. It's this like lack-mindedness. And the lack-mindedness is what causes us to settle for the job that's not right, the apartment that's not right, the partner that's not right, the suitor that comes along that's not quite right, that we know that there's red flags, right? The ex that you get back together with even though you know you shouldn't. Right? It's a lack mindset that says, oh, nothing else will come. And the way that's our fear playing in and blocking our wishes, right? The fears and hopes card is together. It's because we hope that we get what we want. We fear that we won't get what we want. We hope we don't get, but we hope the fears don't come true. They're all sort of like tangled together. And so prosperity and abundance, you have plenty. Do something small to affirm you have enough. Okay, and so the probable outcome right now hopefully, if we can get this message across to ourselves. Let's see what I think it's that. Okay, so addiction and graduation. So breaking addiction, right? If you have, like, if you're getting over a love addiction, right? And you have been the kind of person that has struggled with codependency, and you don't like being single or like without being in a relationship, maybe you're breaking that addiction. So it's like the graduation card comes up with addiction. Final outcome is like we are finally able to have the strength to overcome this thing that's had such a grip on us. Maybe it's a literal addiction that has been holding you back that you're able to finally like give up. Maybe it's a habitual way of thinking. Maybe you're addicted to drama and crisis. We like whatever our nervous system is used to, that is what our nervous system is addicted to. And so it takes work on multiple levels to heal ourselves from perspectives and from low self-worth and from subconscious influences and from the trauma that has settled into the nervous system and the operating systems and the presumptions and the perceptions that have locked themselves into our operating system. It's like we have to relearn and unlearn those things. And even down to like our nervous system, like trying to rewrite our nervous system. It's like, okay, so we're doing like mental therapy, emotional therapy, spiritual therapy. Now we're like trying to like tap our nervous systems and like get all of this stuff that just lives inside of us out. It's like we're trying to clean our computer, and it needs it on different levels. So addiction, codependency, negative behaviors, thought or emotional patterns, coping mechanisms, habits, habitual role playing is going to be coming to an end. Like roles that you had a habit of just falling into, you know, you're going to question that because your new identity is really taking shape, and you're gaining strength and backbone that you haven't ever had before. And so things that may have tripped you up a few months ago, or things that you may have turned a blind eye to or just not said anything about, it's like, wow, like you're really like turning over a new leaf. Perhaps challenges or situations have come up that would have previously been very overwhelming to you, or things that you would have considered challenges are coming up now, and you're like, whatever, I can deal with this. I can probably deal with it better than the average person. And so it's like this confidence is coming forward because we're graduating from what our nervous system has always been used to. So if you've always been used to crisis and uncertainty and someone who's, kind of in and out, hot and cold, then that's kind of what your nervous system is used to and addicted to. And so the more that we become aware of these patterns and we can break these patterns rather than falling into them again, it's like that helps us take a step off of that path and onto a new one. Okay, let's get a few tarot cards to clarify the reading. Let's sum up the story that we've got going on here. Tarot deck. 4 cards that will sum up our message. Okay, 4 of Swords, giving it a rest. Letting yourself heal, meditation, rest, renewal, peace of mind finally. So just taking your mind off of the obsessive thinking, the obsessive healing, the obsessive attempts of trying to control everything and make it happen, and just relax and rest and let the land lie fallow. Entrust the creator, right? Take your hands off the situation and let heaven do its thing. If you don't many times when we try to micromanage the universe, we're just slowing down the manifestations. And so we need to get out of our own way. Okay, what else do we need to know? We are healing, we are taking a breather, we are giving ourselves space, we are resting. We are feeling like safe to relax. Okay, so we have the King of Swords here, feeling very emotionally sober, having like cultivated a peaceful mental landscape. Our thoughts are finally at rest. we're not completely controlled by our thoughts anymore. We've been able to detach and step back and kind of observe our life happening almost like we're watching a show. And while doing that, watching your life as a show, it helps you like separate yourself emotionally from the narrative that's happening. And you can almost watch it as like an invested audience member who's like able, you know, when you're like watching the show and you're like, no, why is the character doing this? She can't do that. She can't do that. Or she has to do that. Why did she do it? It's like, it's so hard to, it's like so obvious when you're sitting there unattached with no skin in the game, just watching the characters on a screen. It's so easy to see what the characters should do. It's so easy to see what would be a step back and what's a red flag and what would be, you know, what would shrink the character, what would grow the character when you don't have that skin in the game, when you're not emotionally attached to the outcome. So in a way, we can approach our life the same way. I've been doing this for the last year or two, and I can tell you it does do wonders. It really does help you enjoy even some things that you would be stressed and upset about. You're like, oh my gosh, what is going on in my life? It's like watching it happening. You're like, wow, this is compelling stuff. And it helps make decisions and choices that aren't reactive, that aren't driven by your emotional reactions to the situation. So yes, transformation of the mind. The Queen of Wands is showing up. This is like a renewal of our spirit and our passion and our enthusiasm. This is like getting our energy back. Stella got her groove back card, essentially. Like the Queen of Wands is charismatic, she's attractive. It can be a male or female, but this energy is like warm and radiant, and it's like very social, and it's industrious. And so the Queen of Wands energy is that character who can take care of business, take care of the home, entertain the guests, have all the Martha Stewart party treats out, and kind of like pull it off, like, and make it look easy, right? This is a very charming, charismatic, nurturing, creative, enthusiastic, passionate person, and all that energy is channeled, and this person is capable of like more than most. So very good. I love this. That you've got the black cat here for independence. Hopefully we are building more emotional independence, as well as learning how to build material independence and financial independence for ourselves. We've got the sunflower here is like a symbol of illumination and enlightenment and all things that are the sun, warmth, nourishment, light. And oh my gosh, Six of Pentacles, right? Jupiter bringing expansion, expanding our dreams and our efforts. Six of Pentacles is what we just said. It's that windfall of unexpected abundance that comes in, but we can't squander that. We have to put it to good use. We have to direct that wisely, because that needs to grow so that it provides for us through the resting time, right? So be of good cheer, relax, trust that the windfall is coming and that you will be able to rest more and slow down a little bit more. But it won't be coming if you don't put the seed in the ground, right? So we can't just sit back and wait for things to happen. We can't wait for all these opportunities to come to us. We have to create these opportunities and go after them. But if we do, whatever we give, you know, the life to work with, it can expand, right? Okay, let's grab a Moonology card. What do we need to know for the next 2 weeks during this waning cycle as the light dissipates from the moon? What is this card? Nothing will come of the situation, void of course. So again, if there has been a little blip on your radar recently and you've been like, is this something? Is this not something? Is this something to worry about? Is this going to be significant? Is this going to grow? It's like, there's something that you know is like not really gonna amount to anything, and there's probably something else in your life that you're like, okay, I feel it, like this has a lot of potential and a lot of growth opportunity here. So whatever it is that those cards for the first half of the reading were warning us about, it's like, don't give it another thought, don't give it any more energy, like nothing's gonna come of it, and even if it did, it wouldn't be in alignment and wouldn't be right. Okay, now let's grab one card from Angel Wisdom Tarot. Whee! Eee! The Chariot. Okay, so the Chariot came up in today's pick a card reading. The Chariot came up, let's see, yesterday in our weekly alchemy message. So like victory, success, progress, like forward momentum, things really taking off, getting recognition for something that you've put effort into or something that you've achieved. Like that is coming, but it doesn't come without discipline and practicing restriction and practicing balance and temperance. We have to be intentional. When we are like driving the chariot, like the charioteer has to keep two horses in balance. This is our active expression and our passive expression, our masculine energy and our feminine energy. This is connecting or like balancing our inner guidance with how we take action in the world. So rewards that come from hard work, successfully balancing many priorities at once, determination and willpower, public recognition. Yay! So it looks like the more we release something that we know is not quite right, it's like that is going to alchemize and that energy is going to be released. It's like the sacrifice, right? That needs to happen and needs to break open all of that energy that we had poured into maybe a projection, right? Sacrifice this obsession, this projection, or whatever this is over here, and let that energy redirect into what is in alignment and refocus all of that passion and that energy and that zeal for what's going to yield value and what's actually going to be authentically aligned. Okay, so over the next 2 weeks during the waning phase, what do we need to do in regards to our manifestations? What do we need to do for our manifestations over the next couple of weeks? Ooh, synchronicity. Your prayers and questions are being answered by synchronistic events. Notice them in order to increase their flow. It's so funny, you know, I think we were talking about this at some point today, either my short video or this video, or I was talking about it with people at work, but I know we were talking about it at work. We were laughing because sometimes there's like so many synchronicities, there's so many signs, and you're like, universe, what are you telling me? And the universe is like, nothing, like it doesn't mean anything. And you're just like, why? What was all that about? And like nothing materializes. You're like, what? I mean, like maybe we'll do later. Maybe the universe does have fun with us sometimes, but notice the synchronicities and they will increase. Be discerning and rigorously honest with yourself about how you're interpreting those. Okay, let's see. Positive energy. You surround yourself with positive people and situations and avoid negativity. So like immerse yourself in positivity and encouraging situations, be around encouraging people. Just like saturate yourself with as much positive expectation as you can, because negative people, they bring your energy down. They defile your aura. They cast evil eye on you, and they cause you to cast evil eye, and they have evil tongue around you, and then they cause you to do evil tongue. And so it just like gets your energy filled and your soul and your aura all like mucky. And so being around positive energy is so much more helpful, because that at least kind of like puts some padding around you. Yes, your intuition is correct. Take action accordingly. So trusting our gut. There's something that we're feeling led to lean into, and there's something we're being led to cut out of the way. And so those two things are probably interconnected. And as we cut one away, the other one will grow. Think about pruning roses. If you prune roses back, they blow up, they grow like weeds. Consult an expert. More information is needed. Contact someone with expertise in this area. So whatever you are focused on, whatever you're trying to manifest, I would look into someone with some expertise, a coach. You can watch YouTube channels. You can find YouTube coaches in just about any niche. You can find people on TikTok. Either way, there's something that you need to consult an expert on. And maybe you literally need to have an expert come. I was thinking that, I have this issue with my air conditioning pumping out way too much moisture. And this helper that was a friend of my sister's, he works for my sister, he came over and took a look under the house. And he was like, you should have Crawl Space Brothers come give you an estimate and just let you know what they think needs to be done. And that way you have a record of what needs to be done, how much it costs, and you can either give it to your landlord to have them do it, or you can do it yourself, or maybe you can use it as a bargaining, for if I wanted to buy this place or whatever eventually. So that it might be something really mundane like that you're not that you're thinking wouldn't be brought up at this reading. So do you need someone to come repair something? Maybe it's time to go see an expert. Do you have a health issue? Do you have are you stuck in some professional venture and you're what am I doing wrong? If you need a dating coach, if you need a relationship coach, if you need a coach on healing childhood wounds, right? There are people who are experts at everything and they're gifted and they're sharing their gifts out there, and you can find almost anything that you need if you just do a little bit of research. So consult an expert. Okay, so during this waning cycle, forgiving and learning, I'm already healing family issues. Let's see, separation from your lover is on the horizon. Someone's wearing a false mask in the situation. Those are my predictions. Okay, so what do we need to know for the waning cycle as far as our romance life goes, as far as our love life goes? Okay, what is this gonna be? Oh wait, hold on. Let your friends help you. Ask for and accept support from others. So yeah, maybe someone has someone that they want to introduce you to. Maybe they can see a blind side that you can't see. Maybe there's a party that is going to have a lot of people there, right? And your friends are yeah, let's go. And you're I don't know, maybe you should go, right? So let your friends help. Ask for and accept support from others. All right. Oh, okay. Love yourself first. Okay. All right. It's not forgiving and learning. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. So love yourself first, meaning where these cards coming up that are this isn't going to be that big of a deal. So obsessing, put the obsession on you. And if someone wants to be in your company, they will make it known. They will come make an effort to make that happen. In the meantime, keep your eye on your goals and keep doing what you're doing to improve yourself, to love yourself, to expand your life, to expand your opportunities. And when someone comes into your life who sees you and is into your thing, that you're they like what you have going on, then they're going to make an effort to put themselves in situations where they can spend time with you. If that's not happening to you, then don't give it a second thought and let the person go, because you have better things to think about than letting your brain space and your thought space be occupied and hijacked by limerent crushing on someone who's not reciprocating or someone who's not making the effort. And so this is how people waste years of their life kind of fixated on a crush who has zero intention to ever follow through. So it's love ourselves first. Stop waiting for people to I don't know, have like some kind of insight and just move on with your life, keep going. And someone who's like crazy about you and like obsessed is going to like make it known. They're gonna make an effort. If they're not, then that's your answer. Okay, what else do we need to know? We're loving ourselves first. We're letting our friends help. What is this? How? Where was this card? Was this in this deck? That's so crazy. So from the manifestation deck, we've got self-employment. You're a born entrepreneur and your business is surrounded by magical opportunities. So definitely like focusing in on our business opportunities and our business goals right now. Loving ourselves first and letting our friends help might help us align with like a soulmate relationship, but we have to say no to the not soulmate relationship first. It's making that sacrifice and cutting that cord that's going to allow this energy to come in, because that's going to raise our self-worth. It's going to raise our vibration, and it's going to get anything that's like putting static in our energy and our signal, that's like signaling to the universe, like, this is my soulmate, like this would be an equal partner, this would be a good match for me. Like all of that is being muddied if you're putting your focus on an unrequited situation. So freeing yourself, putting your focus on the things that are authentic to you, that light you up, that build your life, is going to put you so like saturated in your own beingness and your own flavor and your own like brand that is you, that the universe will have such a clear signal to match you with. And that the more authentic you are to yourself, the less you're like jumping all over the place. It's like you can like rest at that base level of vibration because it's natural. It's your natural state. Okay, let's get one last card from the romance angels. Romance angels, my ass. Very unromantic angels. Okay. Here, let's see. Ooh, stay optimistic about your love life. Don't be salty. Don't be facetious. Positive thinking and faith will bring you romance. So don't give up. Don't go chasing waterfalls, people. Stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. Don't chase shut doors, because then you won't feel enthusiastic and optimistic anymore. If you chase after a losing battle, you're going to start feeling like you're failing. And it's not because you're of anything that you're doing wrong, other than just setting your attention and energy on the wrong thing. So that will wear down your passion and your self-worth and your mental health and all of that. So stay optimistic about your love life. Stop chasing things that aren't reciprocating the chase. Let yourself be chased. Get focused on the things that are really important for you, and all of that will sort of fall into place as well. But staying optimistic is very important. We have to continue to trust and hope and be certain that what is right for us will not pass us by, and that it's on the way. Okay, so let's get some loving words from Mary, Jesus's mom. Ooh, mother, I open my heart to my mother's humanness and her divinity. So when we have a mother wound, this affects our self-worth. And part of healing the mother wound is letting your mother off the hook and allowing her to be just this human, flawed woman that she is and always has been and always will be. Just the same as you are, just the same as every mother has ever been. We like have this archetypal mother figure in our mind and in our heart and the collective subconscious that holds, it's like the highest expression of motherhood. And it's like we all expect our mothers to be able to deliver this magical like personality that never fails and never wavers for the rest of our life. Sort of like, you know, have you ever seen the show The Crown? And they depict the queen as like a human being, a human woman. And then there's like the queen that is the sovereign, that has no luxury for her own choice and her own opinion. It's like she completely sacrifices herself and her life for the sake of the kingdom. Same for mothers in a way. It's like they're expected to sacrifice their humanness for the sake of the household, for the sake of the kingdom all the time. And it's unrealistic of us to expect that of our mothers, or for us to expect that of ourselves if you are a mother. To expect that from motherhood. So being able to forgive your mother the debt of being a mother who didn't live up to, you know, the myth of motherhood, and who could. And every one of us comes here with a mother wound and a father wound. It's assigned. It's part of our tikkun. And we actually choose our mother and our father for the fact that they are going to inflict this wound on us because of the difficult parts of their personality and how they rub up against the difficult parts of our personalities. Like, we have all been assigned for each other, not because of like how great we are together, but because of how our rough edges butt up against one another. And we kind of wear them down over time, hopefully, and correct and heal. So forgiving the mother wound and accepting our mothers as human beings who were flawed, who were very young when we were very young, and they were very experienced, and we were taking things personally as little children, and everything is blown out of proportion and magnified. And so everything that we remember, all the trauma, was based on that perspective. So healing the inner child, healing the mother wounds, will also serve to heal our self-worth and our sense of deservingness, because those mother wounds have every bit to do with affecting how we feel about ourselves. Boundaries. I am clear and honest with others about my expectations. So again, when you have high self-worth and you have a strong sense of deservingness, then you have an easier time setting clear and healthy boundaries and then keeping those. That comes with a healthy attachment style. A person with a healthy attachment style sets their boundaries and their deal breakers and can state their needs. And if they can see that someone is just not a match for that, and they're not going to be able to deliver, or they're unwilling to deliver, then the securely attached person is like, okay, this is not for me then. I will release you back into the wild, and I will go forth and prosper. Not be limerent and obsessed for however long and wish it could be another way, right? We need to move forward. It's not like we aren't waiting for one person. There could be many people who could be great matches for us. A soulmate, we can have many soulmates, but a soulmate level relationship is just that. It's the level of a relationship we can get to, we can aspire to. But it's not necessarily just one person that we're meant to be with, because everyone has their own free will. And so there are a lot of variables like, you know, so that really kind of narrows down the odds at which we would ever find happiness, right? So yes, many people could be a great match for you and could help you achieve your potential in this life and potential for fulfillment. But it's people who are equally yoked in their personal growth, and they are equally yoked in their ability to have, or their willingness to have and work on their relationship. And then they share core authentic pillars like values, and they're compatible. They're compatible in many ways, all the important ways. Okay, and last but certainly not least, let's get some loving words from Jesus. This is an oracle deck that has all of Jesus's quotes from the New Testament. Have faith in God. Well, there you have it, people. Couldn't get any more simple than that. We've got to trust ourselves. We've got to trust our inner guidance. We have to set boundaries, and we have to heal our sense of self-worth and deservingness. And we're focusing in on that mother wound, right? We're healing our mother wound. And so again, this could, you could literally make more time to spend with your mother, or maybe she has a health issue that you're helping her with, or something that you're helping your mother resolve. But the more that you work on this inside, it will improve your outer relationship with your mother as well. And if that is not possible, if your mother is, like, say, geographically not in your life, you're estranged, or if she has passed on, you can meet up in the astral realms on a soul to soul level through your imagination, through meditation and prayer. And you can communicate with your mother, and you can have a connection with her heart to heart. I have this with my brother who has died, and I have this with my best friend Trace, who died several years ago. I can connect with them in my heart. And if I need to have a chat with them, or if they need to pop in for words of encouragement, then that's totally feasible, and they do. But knowing that they're that close and that I can access them anytime, it's like I don't even need to as much. It's like I just have them close by, and they're there. So you can access your mother. If you don't have physical access to her, you can reach her through your heart. All right, you guys, that is all. I hope that we have an amazing Sagittarius full moon. I hope big things are illuminated and revealed and expanded for you. And I hope that over the next couple of weeks, whatever's blocking you, or that is holding you back or keeping you boxed in, I hope that you can realize what that is and start to let go and release and cut cords and break barriers and walls and set boundaries and all the things. All right, y'all, I will talk to y'all tomorrow sometime. Ciao.